The Nawal by Urquidez. Urquidez is over on Vape Pit. Let me throw up a link for you real quick. Hold on a sec. This is for his little sub forum over on Vape Pit. There you go. That is Barrio Urk. The Nawal has actually been out for a little while, but he's started to ramp up production, so it's now becoming, I certainly wouldn't call it readily available, but it is becoming a production device now, whereas before it was just kind of a short run. He made some improvements to it. This is technically a V2 Nawal, and yeah, and it's really good. We'll talk about that in a little bit. So the retail price on this guy is 140 US plus $5.15 for shipping US, and then $23.98 shipping international, and then plus PayPal fees on top of that. So if you're in the US, it comes out to about 151 bucks. It's just under 16 millimeter diameter. It's 5/8 of an inch diameter. The official specifications that he sent me in a PM, the length of the device is, and I quote, "Shit, don't have the length on hand." So that's how tall it is. It's made of 3/16 stainless steel. It has a brass pin and brass securing positive nuts and a stainless steel negative nut. Teflon upper insulator that gets shielded by the lower positive nut. I'll show you that in the design here in a bit. Delrin lower insulator. It has silicone tank O-rings, a Viton cap O-ring. I'm not familiar with the materials. Holds about 2 milliliters of juice. And I already gave you the price in the link. So, let me see here. So let's show you what this little guy looks like. I'm going to switch off autofocus again, and we'll do some close-up. Okay, so first up, let me show you what this guy looks like. So this is the Nawal. Very nice looking, well machined, very clean looking. It's got a nice brush finish on it. A little bit of a chamfer on the top cap there. The wick hole, or the air hole size, I didn't mention in the specs because you can actually choose your air hole size, which is pretty sweet. So and then it's got this nice little engraving here that actually says Nawal. It's N-A-H-U-A-L in a fancy little font there. So the 510 connection, as you can see, it's got a brass adjustable positive post, or adjustable positive connection, stainless steel threading. Okay. Very, very well machined. The lines on it are incredibly clean. Everything is very, very smooth. I mean, even the detail on it is pretty amazing. It's actually a brushed finish underneath on the flat bottom, as you can see there. The circular brush finish. It's the same brush finish on the rest of the device. And this is something that you'll notice about the device in general as I kind of go through here. So we'll take a look under the top cap. Hold on a sec. Yank this off. Top cap is on there nice and snug, not too snug. Okay, so even at that small, you can see the top cap is even slightly reduced beyond the size of the 16 millimeter diameter. So if I had to guess, I'd say it's probably about 13 millimeter diameter in there. It's very, very small. There is very, very little room inside this device. Okay. No issues with drip tips fitting. However, one thing to keep in mind with this device, the way that it's designed, because it's so tight inside there, you may find that certain drip tips that have a longer base on them are going to be a little bit too long and could potentially touch the positive post. So that's something to keep in mind. It's something that ERC is aware of. It's actually not a design flaw. It's intentional to keep the top cap very, very small. So he recommends using, a drip tip that maybe like a Teflon drip tip that's got a shorter base, or a metal drip tip that's got a shorter base on it. Not one of these big honkin' drip tips. So, oi, Fred, come on, buddy. Fred's doing his cameo at an inappropriate time. Come on, dude, get down. Alright, we'll let Fred get on camera a little later on when we're not doing a close-up. So, anyway, so keep that in mind. With the drip tips, you want to use a drip tip that's got a short base. Doesn't have to be a short drip tip, but the part that actually fits into the drip tip connection on the atomizer should be short. The top cap. Flat. Very easy to work with. You know, it's not a lot of room, but you don't really need a lot of room because it's flat. You've got two different size holes there. You've got a 2.7 and I believe a 2.2 millimeter hole. You get to pick which one you want to use as the fill hole and which one you want to use as the wick hole, because of the way that this is designed. So the negative screw is actually insulated from the positive post, but on the same post. Pretty crazy. So there is no separate negative screw here, okay? The original Nawal was designed the same way. This is a little bit, this is kind of an upgraded version of it though. So basically what you do is you trap the bottom wire, or the negative wire, and underneath the center you screw that bottom screw in to tighten it down, and then you wrap a few times around and then trap between the two positive brass nuts there attached to the positive post. So you can see, if you look, the positive post is much more narrow than what looks like the positive post directly above the negative. That's actually the part that's insulated from the positive post. It's pretty cool. So, and I've got a fat wick in here. I actually use the larger of the wick holes. I prefer to, larger wick hole. I like a bigger hole. Yeah. But the larger wick hole does help improve with wicking. So, but anyway, yeah. So it's real. Come on, dude. There's Fred. Let's get a close up of Fred real quick. All right, Fred, in the middle of the Nawal review. Here's a close up of Fred. There you go, bud. All right, get down. So, what else to say about under the top cap here? I think that's pretty much it. So, it's actually pretty easy to set up, even though it's a little different, it's a little unconventional. You just have to make sure that you keep the wick separated from the center post enough that your wire is not touching the center post, so it's not shorting out there. And you also want to make sure the wick is nice and straight, because you don't want it to be touching the top cap of the device. It's all very, very tight in there, and it is designed to be so that there is as little room in there as possible. It's really, really cool. So, let me pop the cap back on, and let's vape this shit. One moment, please. So, the real question is, how does it vape? Yeah. This thing is awesome. This is an awesome atomizer. I hope he opens the list up, and maybe, I know he's actually producing them pretty quickly now. He's starting to pump out batches of these guys. If you can get a Nawal, get one, because it's just, it's a fantastic vape. For a single coil device, I Actually, I'm gonna say it. I like this better than the Hydra. It's not quite as warm and hot. It's not quite as hot and sharp flavor and vapor as you get from the Mini Micro that we talked about before. But that's a dual coil, and we're talking about a single coil here. For a single coil setup, this is the most flavorful, I think, Genesis that maybe I've ever used. It's comparable to a Hellfire Mini. I would have to put them side by side and vape them at the same time to really say whether or not one has a little bit better flavor than the other. But it's incredible. I mean, this thing's amazing. Vapor production is very good, very thick vapor. The air hole is located low, closer to the addy deck, which actually helps improve the wicking and pull the juice up the wick. I've never had any. Actually, I did have an issue with a dry hit. This is kind of funny. So a couple days ago, I'm vaping on this thing, and I take a couple puffs on. I'm like, oh, getting nasty hot dry hit. I'm like, what the hell? So I pop the top cap off, and I fire the button and the coils are glowing. I tilt it and they're still glowing. I'm like, what the hell? So I rip the build out and I put it back together. Before I put the new wick in, I go to drain the juice. And this is how stupid I am, or at least how tired I was at the time. The tank was empty. And that's why I was getting dry hit. So I guess really the only negative about this guy is something that some would consider a positive. The stainless steel tank on it, you can't see how much juice is in there. So if you get a dry hit, maybe put some more juice in before you pull your wick and coil out and build a new one. Yeah, I know. I was tired. Bear with me, or give me a break. But anyway, yeah. So that happened just a couple days ago. I actually told Irk about it. He laughed at me, as he should. And you should all laugh at me too, because it was pretty damn stupid. But anyway, I'm going to take another vape. So, I mean, and this is a small wick hole. You're seeing the good vapor production that I'm getting from this guy. This is a 1.1 millimeter air hole. I think I said wick hole. I meant to say air hole. So it's a pretty tight draw, and I'm getting really, really thick vapor, and the flavor is just ridiculous, like I said. Oh, man. Yeah, I could sit here for 2 hours and just let you guys watch me vape that thing, but I won't put you through that. So yeah, Nawal, that is the shit. Um, that's a really damn fine atomizer. So Irk, dude, seriously, good job, man. This thing is killer. And I never tried the original one. But the design improvements on the V2 are actually really impressive too. Everything about it is just super, super high quality. The machining on it is super, super high quality. I actually thought when I first got it, and I sent Irk a message just to make sure, I thought that the positive screws were gold because they were so well machined and polished and like super gleaming shiny. And he's like, no. He said, um, he told me they were brass, obviously, but I don't remember exactly what he said. It was something funny, but I don't recall, so I won't even try to repeat it. Anyway, so yeah, it's awesome. Big thumbs up. Get one if you can. Nawal, rockin'.